What's up, guys and girls? I'm here at the Twitter. I do work for Twitter. People don't know where I work. I kind of keep it hush hush, but it's me and four other guys. We are in charge of Twitter, and I can't leave. I actually can't leave because Elon required us to work hardcore. So I'm here trying to free the bird again. So, but Elon let me do this podcast real quick, so got an hour.
I'm confused. I work for Twitter also. Hi, I'm Travis, and I was told I couldn't come into the office because they locked everybody out.
Yeah, that was his first email. So what is smart about him is if you got to read the second email where he changed that.
Hi,
maybe that only went out to. Oh, okay.
I work for Twitter. I work for Twitter as well.
Oh, what department? Okay.
I was part of the second email. I got to keep my job.
Oh, that's good. I think things are looking up actually now.
Rumor has it I'm getting a bonus.
I was worried, but now I'm not.
Yeah, I think things are going to turn around. I do love how people have flipped out over this because, like, Elon, he's the troll master. The dude is absolutely trolling everyone, but at the same time, like, it's like serious. Hey, bro, you're messing with people's jobs.
Yeah, I don't know that he deserves to be called the master of anything right now. He's basically.
Hey, I'm here for it, dude. People are out there working for Twitter for 10 hours a week, making, $45,000 a year. That's good for them. I'm glad they were able to negotiate that.
That was my colleagues, yeah.
Yeah, anyone who's able to run a company is going to shut that down as soon as they can.
Yeah, I don't think that was 75% of the employees, but go on.
Yeah, I just
we were talking about it on the Hangouts last night of like, I am so conflicted because I do think he is legitimately an intelligent man to get to where he is in business and the things he's like doing.
Yeah, 100%.
However, the blue check mark stuff.
Yeah, I'm not conflicted at all. This dude's a dumbass.
We did not connect point A to point B on that, on the repercussions, but very funny tweets have come from that.
As a user of Twitter, he has only made bad decisions for the user of the product. I'm not conflicted at all. I think he's a dumbass. I think he has a lot of talented engineers, and I think that he's forward thinking on the space stuff, and I appreciate that. But like, he's a dumbass, like 100%.
And 1, I won't fight you on that. I won't fight you on that one. Yeah, so we'll see. One thing that has been cracking me up though is, whatever, they closed down the offices. They said till Monday or something. Just weird news reports coming out from that. So people were finally like, hey, if this gets shut down, like, what's going to happen? Here is where you can find me. But
yeah, bro,
nobody has settled on. I have seen like 18 different Twitter spinoffs, and I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait it out. Like, I'll go it down with the ship, Titanic style.
I dropped my.
I don't know.
I dropped my Truth Social and my Patreon.
Okay. So there was
he's got his Truth Social on there.
There was an interesting kind of discourse about. Like, it started, I was reading about the war in Ukraine, and I was in a Reset Era thread, and there were people talking about, they were like, there are entire parts of this war that the footage is just Twitter footage. Yeah. Nobody has that anywhere else. Or like, they were talking about, there's just entire threads in Reset Era where someone will just embed a tweet and people will just talk and not really refer in the language, in the text of the post, what they're talking about. And people were kind of doing the math, and they were like, if Twitter shut down even temporarily, you would lose so much information and content. And there are people whose entire job is managing a Twitter account for different brands, and they're good at it. If there was no Twitter, there wouldn't be that central gathering space. Like, the layoffs and just the economy would be ridiculous. Not just related to people that work at Twitter.
Yeah, once you start thinking about it, because you never, back when, like, I want to say, maybe I'm wrong on this, when MySpace died, the internet was different, and it was like, oh, we'll just move to Facebook. Oh, that's crazy. And then we lost all of it, and that was bad. But now there's so much behemoths, like you were saying, like so much data, and like, could you imagine if Facebook just went away tomorrow?
Yeah.
Like there would be mayhem in the streets. There'd be bedlam. It'd be absolute chaos. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, like we've never had another, like a massive, I think to that level.
Yeah.
I think NeoGAF was the last one.
I think Vine is the only one I can think of that really bothered me on that level, because there was so much original content, but it was short-lived. Twitter has been going for like, I don't, 15 years.
People backed up a lot of those Vines, but Twitter is this weird thing where it's like it's a ton of like information, so it's like a ton of little information, so.
And like threaded together and like in content, like you can't really back it up the same way.
That reminds me, speaking of backing up, I had a Zynga back in the day. And like 10 years ago or something, I went back to it, and me and my wife like found ours, and we were cracking up and like going over them. I wanted to go back again. You can't. They still had it, but like you could not access it on the site. They said you can download your data and then put it into WordPress. I had to go and do some coding and stuff, and I got it working. And I got all my old Zynga and stuff back. But I was thinking about that. I was like, yeah, if all these sites go down, like there are on like Facebook and stuff, you can download your data. But like I had to do some coding, some light coding, and put it on WordPress stuff, and I got it working and got on my posts and stuff. But I was like, I had to bring that thing back from the grave.
Yeah,
but
that's wild.
It's weird. Internet archival stuff. I think about a lot too, because I've done a lot of video stuff. Like I back up all that stuff on my own hard drive. And it's on YouTube, but I don't know if what's going to happen, if YouTube ever, that would be crazy.
Went down.
Yeah, in my opinion, YouTube's the best social media page around. They just don't use it the way like social media is used. But even then, everything else can go away except for YouTube.
Yeah, that's the last bastion. If YouTube goes down, there's nothing left.
Yeah, 100%. Everything else, who cares? You flush it down the toilet. But I'm with you. I think YouTube's the best one.
I'm a TikTok and Twitter fan the most. So if we lose Twitter, I'll just be a TikTok fan.
I would love TikTok more if I was more secure in the data, but it's all insecure. So I'm like, why would I use it?
Yeah. But luckily, we are trying to secure your data here. I'll let you guys know how that goes next week. We are the DweeBros. This is the DweeBros podcast. Welcome. I'm joined by Travis.
Hello.
I am joined by Jacob.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Jacob had to unfortunately sell his webcam to survive those couple days when he got fired, but now he's back, so he'll be able to buy a new webcam next time. So
yes, sir.
That'll be good. A lot has happened, not only in my job life, but in the virtual worlds and the real worlds. Lots of games have come out, movies, TV shows. We're going to talk them all tonight. Travis, what the heck have you been playing?
Not much. I was on vacation, and I took a Switch with me, but I didn't.
You should talk about that. Do you want to talk about that? Because I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, sure. I'll talk a little bit about
video games. Talk about the thing you did.
So I went to Europe with my buddy, and we went to Amsterdam, so the Netherlands, for 4 days. And then we went to Berlin for 4 days and had an amazing time. Loved it. It was really a different change of pace. I've been out of the country before, but I'd never really been to Europe. And I just had an awesome time. Ate a lot of good food, drank a lot of good beers, saw a lot of different kind of stuff. Amsterdam is different.
What did you see in Amsterdam?
Berlin
like GameStops are different there? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, there is. I'll have to edit and put a picture. There was so Amsterdam is like very deregulated. So prostitution is legal there. That's where the red light district is. Yeah. Marijuana is super legal there.
Yeah, I want to go there. I want to go check that out.
You go to a coffee shop, you buy coffee, hypothetically. They also will they just hand you a joint and you just smoke it there with your coffee.
Wow.
So it's actually, it's yeah. But I was going to say, Mario, there was a mushroom. It was a mushroom shop. It just had a big Mario in the window called Mario's Wonderland. And I went in and it was all different like mushrooms and stuff.
And did you walk in and say, you guys play games?
Yeah.
And
No.
then red beady eyes.
I also saw there was a manga shop, and they had comics and manga, but they had a lot of figures, and they had the same shelves, Zach, that you do. And they had some Evangelion figures.
Oh.
They had some original Star Wars stuff, like the old Empire Strikes Back, Phantom Menace, like
wow.
old. And I took some pictures because I was going to send them to me, be like, are these good deals? I didn't buy anything, but yeah, we went, and I would say Amsterdam is a really fun time. It's, even though it's very deregulated, it feels very safe. I didn't see a cop the whole time I was there. Wow. We saw one ambulance, and everybody stopped and looked. I was like, this is like everyday life there. Wow. In Ohio. So, it was very fun, and kind of a little bit bigger than Cincinnati kind of size. Then we took a train and we went to Berlin, which was immediate culture shock. In Amsterdam, everybody there speaks English. Just about 90% of the people there are English as a second language. So they speak Dutch, and then 90% speak English. So we were Googling, and when we got to Berlin, we looked it up, and over there, it's 56%. So I was like, okay, it'll be less, but we'll still be fine. Well, that 56% is not like evenly distributed. And I think what it looks like is if you speak English in Germany or in Berlin, you're working an office job, probably you're doing business, something like that. So like a lot of our servers, bartenders, like we'd start to speak English, and they were like, nah, like, you're going to have to just make this happen.
They said, take out Google Translate.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
So it was good though. We had a really good time. Yeah. Google Translate is your friend. Berlin, that city is incredible. The only thing I could compare it to, Zach, have you been to New York City? Jacob, have you been to New York City?
So New York City.
New York City feels different to me than most other American cities. It just feels like a different size and level and cultural weight. I don't know how else to describe it. Berlin felt even more than that. Berlin is a very international city. I honestly, it was hit or miss if you even met many German people, like all countries, Syria, Romania, Russia, a lot of British people, a lot of Dutch people, a lot of French people. Every single person I felt I met was from a different country there. It is a city that never sleeps. We went to like techno clubs and stuff. That techno is huge in Berlin. On like a Thursday night, we were hunting around. There were 80 different techno clubs doing raves, and we were out dancing until 6 a.m.
Nice.
We were out all night. Like, it was so much fun. I actually really like techno music now. It's fun. It's very fun.
Yeah, over there it seems like they really like their techno. So
they do. Cool. So I really loved Berlin. It was really cool. Very different than Amsterdam, a huge city. I was reading, because David Bowie, that was his favorite city, was Berlin, and he would go stay there. And he described it as just a cultural, like, complete, like, you just a complete clash of all these different cultures, and that is very accurate. It feels like the capital of the world in a weird way. Like, it's just unique place. Definitely, if you're an artist or if you like music, food, we had think of every type of food you could imagine. They had it there, and we had a great time in Berlin. We also, while we were there, saw some really good live music. I saw Porcupine Tree, which is one of my favorite bands. We saw them in Amsterdam. Last minute, we saw Lil Nas X was in town, so we bought Lil Nas X tickets and went and saw him with a bunch of like German college age students, which was a very different type of experience as well. So, it was a great time. Highly would recommend going out some of those places. But
you go to where the Berlin Wall was?
Yeah, I did. And I took quite a few pictures while I was kind of going around Berlin. I saw the wall. We went to the DDR Museum, which is the DDR was the name of the government on East Berlin in East Germany. They had one of the best museums I've ever been in. It wasn't really large, but it was so carefully crafted and put together. And basically there were 3 parts to the museum. One focused on social life and like sports and, you know, culture and music and film. So like you could actually go through and pull archives and like listen to the records that they listened to over there. Cause they only had it was like a little ecosystem. Like they had their own music, they had their own movies, they had their own everything, because they were super communist and everything was limited, and you could kind of go through and listen to it. Then they had a section that was all about their government, so they had government desks like set up the way that they were, and files and interrogation rooms. And then they actually recreated a house accurate to the people that were living in East Berlin in the 70s, so you could walk through this house and check it out. So the DDR museum, that's what that was. That's very worth doing. Cool. Was very cool. So nice. Yeah, it was a good kind of fun recharge, explore a new place type of trip. So I enjoyed it a lot. While I was traveling though, I did play one game and I did end up finishing it, and that was Bowser's Fury. And I really liked that little game, but I will say that took me longer than I think most people it took them. I've heard people call like an hour, 2 hours. I played it, I think my save file's 12 hours when I beat it. I don't know what took me so much longer. Maybe I was just taking my time, but I really liked that game. It was a fun little game, and I liked collecting all the stars and going around and fighting Bowser as Big Mario, Big Bowser as Big Mario. And I don't know. I don't know. Did you guys you played Bowser's Fury, right, Zach?
Yes. Yeah.
Jacob, did you play Bowser's Fury?
I did not. Can you not hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
I can hear you now.
I said I did not.
Gotcha. I liked it a lot, but I saw a post recently and someone was asking when are they going to do a new Mario, which is a good question. It's been 5 years, so we're probably due. But people were like, "Well, the next one."
Switch Pro.
Yeah, people were saying, "Well, the next one be open world." It could be. I thought this one was good, but I honestly felt like this was a good open world Mario game. I guess you could do more with it.
I feel like we've only got one Mario per system except for the Wii. But you could argue it was almost DLC, the Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because 2 is almost like DLC for that. I'm trying to think if N64, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy.
On the old ones, the NES had 2, but one of them was kind of a fake game. So.
Oh yeah, but I guess since they've entered the 3D era, I'm trying to think. I think they just kind of do one per. So we had Super Mario Odyssey. We'll see what we have next, but yeah, I'm really hoping for a Switch Pro because I've been playing Bayonetta 3, and honestly, as I've played, the performance has not been an issue, but I'm more thinking of Pokemon. Jacob, did you get the new Pokemon, or were you interested in the new Pokemon?
I mean, I'm interested, but I'm not going to play it on the crap system that the Switch is.
Yeah, I have seen so many videos that Travis, have you seen any of this? It is like it chugs at like 15 frames per second. Sometimes not even battle. They're not even in battle.
Yeah, it's bad.
And some people were saying it's a memory leak. Some people were saying, oh, maybe it can be fixed with a patch. And I'm just like,
well, that I will say that sounds to me like not great optimization. And the people the Game Freak, they're not like the most experienced at 3D environments, like true 3D. Yeah. Like that's a newer thing for them, right?
We had Sword and Shield. We had Arceus. I mean,
no, it's not. Honestly, there's no excuse now. You know the hardware you're working with. I don't give a crap. Hey, people, figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's just too many games have come out that I've pushed off, or like, oh, I'll just play on emulator because it's like we can't get the frame rate there. I still love the aspect of that Switch nailed of like that portability, and you slap it on that they nailed, and that is so freaking like a game changer. But where's the Switch Pro? Where's the Switch Pro at?
Yeah, it's definitely due. I think that they're just going to have to go to the next. It's going to be the Switch 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is Nintendo, because in their DNA, they just never do what you think they're going to do.
Yeah.
My fear is their next console is just going to be completely different and not be a Switch type thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be I mean, God, it would suck if their next thing's just a dedicated box you plug into a TV, but I wouldn't be shocked.
But it would be weirder if they did just put out Switch 2, because they have always gone wonky since, you know, GameCube to the Wii. They've just made these crazy controllers from the N64 to this. They just always go wackadoo with it. So I think it'll be a totally different thing. But that'll be interesting. But I don't know. Maybe they I don't know. But that's also just not like Nintendo. Switch 2, and it's the same like form factor thing. You know what I mean? Like that.
I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, they're just too wacky.
The only time they did that was the 3DS from the DS.
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
it's the only time they did it, and I guess they could do that. They could call it the 3D Switch. I don't know.
3D Switch. Speaking of which, I'm just jumping topics here, but we do hangouts every Thursday. We're not doing next Thursday. It's freaking Thanksgiving. How dare you? But we did. We ranked me and Pierce and Matt ranked every game console of all time, from Generation 1 to Generation 9, our current generation. So check that out on the channel. It's the Resident Evil Part 4. We did Resident Evil, and we did some game ranking on there. Jacob jumped in for a second to yell at us, and Pierce was yelling at him.
Yeah, dude.
Because he said he wanted to get the Wii higher, and Pierce said it should get an F.
Where'd you put the Wii?
I defended it to the point to get it to a C, because I didn't think
the Wii was a C.
Yeah, dude. I said it's mind blowing. You put a GameCube at an S, but you put the Wii at the C. The Wii was a GameCube, but better.
Pierce and Matt wanted the PSP and the Vita at S, and I had to talk them down.
Oh, what the hell? What were they drinking?
They were playing a lot different games than we were. But I had to tell them, I was just like, game library, the actual console power itself, and like the must plays, I think all incorporate when I'm trying to rank all these. But they weren't having it. They said they wanted the Wii at an F. Jacob, I fought for you. I said, now here's the thing: the Wii had a major shovelware issue with.
Yeah, who cares? Who cares?
It had major graphical issues. So that was the negatives.
I could see it being an A, a B at the lowest, if you wanted to say the graphics held it back. But
you can tell me the best-selling console of all time.
I said it had cultural impact. Like, we had people that weren't even gamers play it. The motion stuff, I think, has led to even our VR stuff, like technology that we're doing now. Like, it was just huge at the time. It was a huge achievement. But we were back and forth, and finally I was like, hey, look, a lot of great stuff, a lot of poo-poo stuff in the Wii. Let's give it a C. So
what were the things that got S? Please tell me the PSP and the Vita did not get S, because they do not deserve S.
Let me see if I can.
You're gonna be shocked when you hear this answer. You're gonna be like, holy crap. It's mind blowing to me. Like, it really is. You're telling me an improved GameCube that you rated an S, isn't it? Oh my gosh, dude, you're gonna make me mad. Like, what the?
I could see GameCube S, Wii A. I could see that.
No, I think it's swapped. You're telling me a backwards compatible GameCube that has improved technology. How is it not better?
That was a big thing, was the backwards compatibility. And something I never even realized until we did this ranking, the Game Boy Color was technically like, and I said I could be wrong on this, it was the first backwards compatible system. Really.
But the difference is the Game Boy Color.
It played old Game Boy games. And then when it was technically the first one. I was like, wow, I was surprised.
But the technology on the Color wasn't even better than the one that was on the original Game Boy. It just had color.
Here were all the S's. And I'll go in order from Gen 4.
Okay, the problem is when you say all the S's, that means there's more than one or two, which means S is meaningless at that point.
Dude, you all screwed this list up.
But go for it.
Listen, I think there was a mixed bag of thoughts trying to make this list, so we had to really whatever.
You have to have a standard in which you judge by.
And that's why I was trying to, and everybody was kind of a little bit different on what weight they put on this stuff, because we have the Game Boy Pocket, the Super Nintendo, got Game Boy Color. With the first, now I was back and forth on this. I wanted to put PlayStation at first at S or A. I think people in the chat were saying, "Hey, let's do." I say S, and some Matt or somebody's like, "I think S." But I'm okay putting even PS1 at A and PS2 at S.
Okay,
that's what I thought.
I think PS1 S or A makes sense.
Yeah,
Bro, I think PS1's
Game Boy SP, which I was for. I was not for this next one, GameCube at S. I didn't. I think that was a B, maybe.
I think it's A or B max.
PS2, the DS Lite. Now here's where I was cracking up, but we were way on the different spectrums here. PS Vita, which I was cracking up about.
You let them put that on S?
Because I think there was they gave me one and I gave them one. But
dude, Travis, they botched this. We gotta fix it.
We gotta pause for a second.
And the PlayStation 4, that was it for that.
The PlayStation Vita.
My gosh.
I've never owned one. The problem is it is just simply the library is not there at all. All for it to be an S.
And they kept talking about how cool the screen was and stuff, and I was
I am sure it was cool, but that's ridiculous.
I tried to find them, but
the only thing I don't understand is Game Boy Pocket. Why is that an S?
I think because we had put the original Game Boy at A. And I kind of agreed with him. I hadn't really thought about the Pocket. I forgot the Pocket is a black and white screen versus that green and black screen. I totally forgot about that. So they were saying like, hey, you got a smaller form factor. That first gen of handheld like.
Name me 5 Game Boy Pocket games you want to play.
Super Mario Land 1 and 2, Metroid, Samus Return or Samus. Something.
You want to to play Metroid 2? Okay. Yeah, that Pokemon. Thing has that
original Pokemon.
That thing has no business being an S. Unique to the Game Boy Pocket is what I'm saying.
Look, man, I love y'all, but y'all botched it.
I would have not put Game Boy Pocket at A. I think I was A or A. I think that's what it was. I was A, and they were kind of S. And
the Vita is the biggest problem. The Vita is insane.
I think the Vita. I agree. Take it up with them.
Where did the 360 end up?
The first model 360 was an F. That was with the red ring.
I still disagree.
But we put the other systems at. We put that in A, and we all agreed.
You ranked the hardware revisions.
We all did agree to a point, except for the Vita, that there was a weight to the tech of the system, the like games, and like what it brought to the table, like exclusives wise. That 360, that red ring issue, and how crappy that was. That was an immediate F. None of us even thought about it. We were like F because of how much of an aggravation that was. It was unbelievable, and just how crappy the hardware was. Now the revision, when they fixed it, because that had such weight, that was such a bad issue for that system, that was an F. But the Slim 360, we gave it an A. Now I'm gonna say that that's one of my favorite gens. Is like or that.
Oh, my head hurts. Listen to this.
That 360 and playing on live with friend stuff was one of my favorite
white 360, even with the red ring issue. You know why I know it's not an F? Because it would red ring, and I would do everything I could to make it stop red ringing. And then when it red ringed, I would ship it off. I'd get another one immediately, and then I'd swap them. You don't do all that. You don't. But as the user, you don't do all that if it's an F.
You just forget about it.
You just forget about it.
But when they revised the system and we had a different system to choose from, which was the X or the S or whatever, the Slim or whatever, once that came out, that is an F. That's the worst version of that console you can get. So.
Well, that's why I think that if I had done this and I didn't, that's fine. I wouldn't have had different revisions. You just have to bake all that into the rating. And if somebody wanted to say it's a B for all those issues, I would understand that. But to me, it's like S quality games and memories with probably D tier hardware stability. So I would have given it like a B.
Some of these things were big. Like if they didn't have a good library, if they didn't have it, except for the Vita, they fricked up on that. I keep going back to the Vita. So we had the Switch at a B, and I said the Switch could easily have been an S if that would have been a more pumped up system, or they would have fixed these like frame rate issue. You know what I mean? Like give it a little bit more power, figure that out. But and then the Stadia was an F. We gave the Stadia an F as well.
I mean. That's
so Zach Pike, you are telling me that the Stadia service and the original Xbox 360, in your mind, they're equal. They're the same.
Yeah.
That's not true.
I think in F you have significantly failed at what you were trying to do. There wasn't many Fs.
But that's where I see it differently. Is the 360 was not the significant failure in terms of they missed the mark on what they were trying to make. They had a hardware issue. There was a quality assurance issue.
It was.
But so the system.
It was so heavy weighted to that being such an issue that we gave it an F. But the S we gave an A because they fixed that major issue, and then there was like no complaints. It was great. It was perfect.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, dog. You missed on this one.
I'm also going with all of like the Slims and that and stuff. So it's like we all three were really obsessed with that generation, but it's like that console all burned us bad. But yeah.
I still think the white 360, red ring and all. I love that thing.
What would you put it at?
The white 360, just the white 360. Yes, I would give it a B.
A B or A. I mean,
I would want to give it an A.
Your issue
with it, yes, because it was iconic, and I still stand by when it red ringed. I didn't say, "Oh, this system's an F. I hate it. I'll never get another one." I was like, "How do I get another one until this one gets fixed?" And then I was swapping them in and out, like. That
I was swapping them out, and that was an aggravation. That was
I didn't like that I had to do it.
I've never had to do that ever with any other system except that.
I'm not arguing that, but my point is, you did it because it wasn't an F system. That's my point.
The games and the live service were A.
Well, when you put that white 360 at F, you're putting the library in F too when you do that, because it's the average of all the factors.
But I'm weighing it, and that weight is too heavy.
Okay. So given that, you would have preferred that you never owned a white 360. You would have just waited for the Slim and played all those games late. Is that what you're saying? It wasn't worth it to play Halo 3 day one. You would have just waited.
No, but
because it's not an F. Because in the end, it was worth it.
Once they fixed it, then we have to. I'm ranking it against the Slim. And
I know you are. But go back in time, Zach. Go back in time. Okay. Let's say you time travel and you're living in 2000. You're living in 2006, right?
Okay.
So you want to play some games, right?
Yeah.
Are you gonna go out and get a white 360 day one to go be able to play these games?
I did all that.
I know. Would you do it again? Would you have changed any of that?
At the time, no, but...
In retrospect, would you tell yourself, hey, don't buy that system. Wait for the one that comes out in 2009. Would you have done that? No, because it's not an F. Because it's not an F.
I think it's an F.
You would have said, you don't know what's coming. It's going to be a tough, but it's worth it.
The only thing it's too bad. I'm sorry. It's just too that.
Jacob, you get what I'm saying, right?
I think you screwed up doing the hardware revisions. I really do. But my biggest argument for the Xbox 360 is Xbox 360 had a great launch. It hit that little rough patch. The UI was amazing until the later gens. The later gens of the Xbox is what ruined the Xbox 360.
I'll actually say that. I'll still take a white 360 with the ring issue because I know it's going to have the blades, and those new ones launched without the blades, and I don't want that crap.
That was why we didn't put it at an S. I think because they even wanted to put an S, and they mentioned the blades. They said, the blades bring those down. It kept getting worse. They also, I disagreed with this. They wanted to put, and I fought them on this. They put the PS3 at A, and I thought, no way. I said that thing was and I'm a Sony fan. That thing was $600 when it came out. Hard to program for, so third-party games sucked on it.
It was going to be a commercial failure.
Did they put the PS3 Slim at A or the original at A?
The original and the slim. We just kind of threw those.
Oh
threw that one in there.
dude.
If you wanted to put the slim in A, I could see that.
We
but-
put the crappy slim. Where did we put that? Maybe
We
D
just
or
threw,
F.
here's the thing. We just threw standards out the window. That's what happened.
Where did we freaking put that? The ugly PS3. I don't know where that thing went. That was our least favorite. Oh, we put that at C. We put that on C. But did you ever see that one where it like loaded sideways?
Terrible.
It's the worst revision. So that did get knocked down.
Yeah, it's bad.
But they fought me on PS3 at A, and I'm a Sony fanboy, and I was trying to bring it down to now the second half of that gen of 7th gen. They nailed it. I think Sony killed it, and then 360 was kind of wavering, but really nailed it. But I would give it a B at the highest. But that's come from a Sony. At my heart, I bleed blue, just like Twitter.
Last question. Original Xbox.
We got that. Oh, Pierce kept talking over me and screaming, "It's got Halo! It's got Halo! It's got Halo!" And we got it to B. We were back and forth, but we got it to B.
Where were you trying to put it?
I thought that it didn't have a great exclusive library. I was
What? What? Knights of the Old Republic? Not great.
I think
didn't that come out PC at the same time?
No. It was mainly focused on console, but
Fable, Halo, Ninja Gaiden is all that like some exclusives I think are worth it on that system. But
I would argue the Xbox is a C to B
Halo,
console.
that was, if we're talking about weights on different things, I did relent to giving it a B because Halo. Because that is such a ginormous cultural, like crazy phenomenon and everything. It's like that, gets that. So, you can take this up with Pierce. Any problems you have?
you got it to B, right?
I got it to B.
I give it B. That's what I would give it.
Yeah.
So
that's where it was at. Because I was wanting to give it lower, but he convinced me. He just kept screaming, "It's got Halo," and I said, "That's true."
It's got. Oh my god, just see it. It's got Halo.
But yeah, we had a lot of fun. Check out every Thursdays except next week. Any Thanksgiving stuff. Check it on Twitter while it's still there. I'm working on it, guys. Check it on Twitter when we're going live. And we were playing through Resident Evil 4. We played like 20 minutes. I got through, and then we did that for the rest of the hour and a half last time. So not much progress was made.
you're gonna finish that game in 10 years.
Yeah. Next time, no ranking. We're just gonna try to get Ashley where she needs to be. Yeah, I'm on the Ashley.
What act are you in?
I just got Ashley, and I ran past a giant with her.
Okay.
That's where I'm at right now.
Have you put her in a dumpster yet?
Yes, Pierce told me to. He's like, "You got to check this out," and I threw it in her dumpster last time. So
It's one of my favorite features. I'm wondering how they'll do that in the remake.
yeah. Yeah. So that was a lot of stuff. What the heck else happened? Let me pull up my notes here.
I can tell you what I've been playing.
Did a Call of Duty come out?
Yeah. So yeah, man. Look. All right. Look, man. It's time to go dark. All right. 0360. NW2, the most innovative Call of Duty in the history of Call of Duty. 3,000 developers.
3,000. That's where all my friends have went from Twitter.
In the oven. All right. 3 years in the oven. Dropped at the end of October. Now look, this is just the multiplayer. It wasn't anything crazy. They gave us the campaign a little early, knocked it out. Good campaign. About 11 hours. It was very clean.
Now I have a question about the campaign. Is the campaign it's almost like a Final Fantasy VII remake thing a little bit. They're kind of, some stuff's tweaking, they're changing.
Yeah,
because it's not like the original Modern Warfare 2, correct?
Correct. They've changed the story. They kind of went back and said, "Hey, that old story, it's not canon. This is the new one."
Oh yeah.
This is
it
rebuild.
like,
it's Call of Duty rebuild.
Is it the same characters and a similar plot?
So you still got Soap. You got Captain Price. You got Gus. You got Ghost. You got all the normal guys. The original crew is there. And then you still have all the bad guys like Shepard and, you know, Rose and what's the other one? What's the guy that starts with the M from Russia? Markov or whatever. Markov or whatever.
Markov.
So all the normal baddies are there. But anyways, it dropped, and, you know, most innovative COD. But I've been playing it. I have about 2 days now of game time in the multiplayer. And I can tell you this. This game sucks. It's not good. The multiplayer sucks. They only released 5 maps on rotation. The game is completely buggy, and it completely lags out.
Are you being for real? I thought you loved this.
No, 100% being for real.
Oh, wow.
Then let's talk about the other issue that we have with this game. All right. Because again, 3,000 developers, 3,000 people worked on this freaking game. We didn't get Warzone on day one. Not a big deal, because that means I can grind my guns and level them up. They have made the gun mechanics. Oh, let me hold on. Okay, yeah, the gun mechanics. They've made the gun mechanics where, as you unlock one gun, you unlock other guns. So the way it works is, if you want a specific gun, like let's say I want the MP5, I have to then go level up its sister gun, which is going to be the Lockman 762, which is a battle rifle. I have to get to a certain level. Then I get the assault rifle version of it. Then I have to get that to a certain level. And then I get the chance to unlock the SMG version, which is the MP5. So I have to grind guns that suck to get the one gun that I want. And then on top of that, I don't even get the attachments for it, because I have to grind another gun to get the attachments for that MP5.
Man.
So they've really changed the way the progression system works.
For the worse.
Well, here's the thing. I get it. They want everyone to not sit there and just grind the guns that are going to be the most important guns. They want everyone to play every gun and make the grind longer.
Yeah.
No one, I'm going to tell you about this. I'm not going to say that. 85% of the people who buy in W2 are buying it because of Warzone 2. Warzone 2, which dropped yesterday. Great game, phenomenal game. I have 6 wins already. Good start.
The Warzone you like, but you don't like the multiplayer of Modern Warfare 2, correct?
Yes, but I got some other issues with Warzone I'm going to take up for a second too.
Oh shit! Did you get banned again?
No, I'm not banned. Okay. I recovered that account. But nonetheless, then here's the issue I'm going to have with this game, and just in general. The priority isn't there. The smooth gameplay is the most important thing when it comes to playing a game. They will sit there and make sure to grind every little other detail, how the bullets come out of the gun, how the things look, how the aesthetic of the game feels. But they will not put content in the game that we need. They won't put maps. Dude, 5 maps launching is a joke in a Call of Duty game. Like an absolute joke.
I think that's more than Halo Infinite had.
That's my problem. And these companies, and I've been saying this for years, the standard in a AAA video game that includes live service mentality has completely went down the toilet. It is the biggest joke in the world. And I sit here and I say this because I'm one of the people who spend money on this game, and I look at it and saying, man, I really want to kick myself in the nads for the things I do for this stinking company, because I'm the reason why they're able to do the stuff they do. And it just sucks. It really does. I wish that companies cared. I wish that companies actually worked on it, because you can't tell me 3 years in the oven, 3,000 developers, and this is the crap we get. Nah, dude, buzz off, man. So then we jump into Warzone. All right, Warzone 2, the re-innovation, the greatest, the second coming of what has been known as one of the greatest BRs to hit the market. All right, it comes out, and I'm jumping in at 3 frames per second until I pull my parachute automatically, and then the game finally decides to start working a little bit.
Now
so let's start with
maybe the servers overloaded. Maybe the servers.
I don't give a crap.
The servers
3 years.
overloaded.
How many years? 3 years in the making. 3,000 developers, and you're telling me you can't fix the most simplest of the first thing a beta tester would do, which is jumping into the game, and you can't get that running right? Nah, buzz off, dog. It don't work like that. I don't give a crap. 3 years, dog. 3 years. All right. So then let's talk about the other issue they made in this game. They have completely pulled out the idea of that made beautiful Call of Duty beautiful back in the day is when you got into a game And when you got into that game, you didn't know who you were playing up against. You could be playing against a Call of Duty Pro, or you could be playing against some 60-year-old man who just touched a controller for the first time. It doesn't matter. No, skill-based matchmaking is cranked up to 15 in this game. So if you have one good game, and I'll give you my example. I had a game where I popped up for 45 kills. I only died 8 times. A really good game. That's a good game, all right? The next game, I kid you not, I was playing with the YouTube streamer Cloaksy, who this dude occasionally, and I'm saying like occasionally, in his sleep, will get 75 kills in a game. So I'm sitting here just getting crapped on because I just had one good game. And I'm talking like you get punished for playing the game. And that's just where like it just isn't fun. Warzone follows that suit. We'll drop in and get a dub, and the next thing you know is we're fighting for our lives because we're playing against people who are just really good at the game. I want an even coding. I want to be able to play against anyone, but I also want to be able to play against people who aren't as good as well. I feel like it shouldn't be this giant like, oh, you just had one good game. Let's go ahead and just throw you into the freaking wolves and just see how you go. And people say, oh, Jacob's early. It's early skill-based matchmaking. Nah, man, that's what they want you to think. This is how they keep you.
Wait,
like,
I'm just having trouble following. So you want to play against anybody, but then your example of being upset was you played against some bad people and then you played against a streamer. Wouldn't that be playing against anybody?
How is it bad people when the other people on the other team are going positive? It'd be different if the people on like the game I popped off on, if they were all a negative, but they all weren't negative. They were all either even or some of them was positive. I think there was one person who was like, I'm not gonna lie, was like 8 and like 20 something. All right, that happens in every game. But like to be reversed, the reverse side of it, like everyone on that team I was on was all in the negatives that game. So I just
are you stuck to where you're playing streamers constantly now?
No, that was the only time I was like, wow, I know that dude. I like legitimately know that dude. But I can say this, like I don't have like an amazing KD in this game. I don't have like a killer. I just like, okay, there's another issue in Warzone, but I don't want to crap on everything. I'm having fun in Warzone. The map is great. I will say this, I really do like the map. The old map in Warzone 1 was pure dookie ever since they got rid of Verdansk. Like it's bad. But this new map, Almirada, it's really good. I think they did a good job with that. But the issue that I'm having with it is just like, you can't tell me that a company can spend this much time and this much money on this game, and this is what we get. It's just not the same. It's just not. It's just not fun.
Well, I gotta say, you've convinced me. I'm buying this.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask is, I have Modern Warfare 2 on my Christmas list. Should I not get this game? Would you not recommend it? Because
here's the thing.
I feel like the story everyone has really loved, but
that's the same thing.
That's why it's on my Christmas list. I don't know if 70 is going to do it.
2019 Call of Duty, yeah, everybody said the story was great. It was only 7 hours, so they increased the story time a little bit. But man, I don't play a first-person shooter to play the story. I play it to play the multiplayer. Multiplayer is it's punishing. It's just not rewarding.
I thought you were liking the multiplayer. Did you just play more and not like it? I thought you were saying you loved the multiplayer Modern Warfare 2. Was that the beta Warzone? I don't know.
Yeah, I was having fun. I was having fun with the beta because it was new and shiny. Now that I've actually sat here and grinded, I'm like, dude, this isn't fun. I'm miserable.
See, like, but now is it better than Black Ops? Because nobody liked Black Ops after they started playing it, but I liked it. And
I'll tell you right now, Black Ops had it.
The one that we just had a couple years ago?
Yeah, Cold War. That was Cold War.
Cold War was good, man.
Everybody was crapping on Cold War, and I was liking it. So let's just play Cold War. We have Cold War. Let's just play that.
Yeah, I like. I still have Cold War installed. This game dropped without a hardcore, and that's another thing. This game dropped without a hardcore mode, which is a staple, and without a combat record. Like you couldn't check the score, like leaderboards.
What is up with current gen? Halo did that. Didn't have score leaderboards at first. What happened?
Dude, I'm just you know what happened?
Came to Twitter.
You know what happened? No, what happened was they want to pander. All right, they want to pander to the lower denomination, the lower idea of like, hey, we want everyone to feel included. Nah, dude, I don't care if I suck at the game. I just want to look at stuff. I want to be able to have a hardcore mode. Hardcore mode is like a staple.
Yeah.
But anyways, the other big issue I'm having in Warzone is like, you'll get texture where like a building will reach all the way up to the sky, and it's not really reaching all the way up to the sky. So what's happening is like the texture isn't really loading, and what it's becoming is this giant blob. So someone could be standing on top of the building and I can't see him because it's a giant blob.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Well, you've unconvinced me. Should I not get Modern Warfare 2? I don't know what to do.
I would get Warzone's free. And Warzone's the only reason I play this game. They do have a DMZ, which is called basically Escape from Tarkov.
Yeah.
That's baked into Warzone, and it's really fun. I'm having a lot of fun with that.
I did see that you can go to Amsterdam in the campaign.
Yeah, I saw that too when I was in Amsterdam.
You do go to Amsterdam.
So I can save a lot of money and just play it there and do all my deeds.
You could.
In the game.
Yeah.
So third person mode's back, and I do think a third person mode's a ton of fun. I do like how I'm playing that.
There's third person Call of Duty.
Yep, they brought it back. It was in an MW2 back when it first came out, but it was the only time it was ever in. It was MW2, the old one, and they were like, "Hey, in order to honor MW2, we brought third person mode back."
I'm gonna have to look that up. That's crazy.
It's really fun. I will say it makes it a lot more fun, and there's no skill based matchmaking in third person mode. Don't know why, but there isn't. It's just weird. It's crazy. It's different. So I've been playing that. I'm still gonna play Warzone because I love Warzone. I love playing with friends, so I'm gonna keep doing that. Got Among Us in VR. I can talk about that for a second.
I've been seeing people play that.
It's a ton of fun. I will say it's a babysitter simulator.
I've been cracking up seeing like adults like chasing kids down in VR.
Oh yeah,
going, I'm gonna get you, and the kids are screaming at the top of their lungs.
There was
so freaking fun.
There was one squeaker I was playing with, and I just kept saying, "Hey man, you know I'm gonna kill you at one point." And he's like, "No, you're not." And I'm like, "Yeah, I will. I just haven't done it yet, but I will." You know, I'm just sitting there like, I wish I had more like older friends to play with in VR. But I will say, for what it is, it's a very good Among Us. Like, it's scary. Like when the lights shut off, it's legitimately scary. You're like, I'm gonna get murked. Like it's coming. Like I just don't know where it's coming from. So that's like I've been playing that, which that's been really fun and been actually enjoyable. The only other thing that's really just been on my radar to play has been God of War Ragnarok. I have it. I've heard amazing things. I just haven't committed the time to it. I haven't had it just because Call of Duty came out and I've been playing that. And I mean, I got called off for work yesterday. Or was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. I got off work yesterday just to play. Like that's just been what I've been doing. So I will play Ragnarok at some point. I have it downloaded, ready to go. Just haven't done it yet.
Cool. Yeah. I want to get that too. I can't do 70 for that one. I'm not a huge God of War fan to do 70 yet, but yeah, I've just heard good stuff from Ragnarok.
I mean, that's crazy to me because I feel like God of War when it first came out, the last one, it was game of the year for me. So like,
let us know how that goes.
I'm with you, Zach.
Dude, here's the thing. Ragnarok could sit in the freaking toilet for 3 years and come out shining. Warzone sat in the toilet for 3 years, and guess what? It needs to be flushed freaking down. It's not fair, dude. But that's the thing. Santa Monica, they have like, what, 50 employees? And you're telling me the company has 3,000? Can't freaking put out a good... Oh, my gosh, dude. It's a joke, dude. It's a joke nowadays. Maybe developers... You want to talk about people getting laid off? Twitter should be getting laid off. These developers should be getting laid off. That's what should be happening. We just lowered our standards. That's what it is.
It's just me and Bobby and Jamie in the back, and we're doing all the compliance stuff to make sure there's no like hate speech. It's just us three, so we'll get it. Go on. That is one thing they did. I forgot. They added a system to where they're recording your voice chat now. So if you get reported enough for saying inappropriate things, they will ban you. Okay. That's actually kind of a W. Because I will say, I've heard the N-word. Proximity chat's in Warzone now, so if you're near somebody, you can hear them talking. Yeah. I have been called the N-word a lot, and I just boot into the game and report them, and hopefully they get banned. But now they record all that stuff, and they can... Yeah, they record all of it, so they'll record it, and they said if it's enough infractions, they'll just end up banning them. Okay. That's a big W. Because, I mean, I will say, 5-year-olds go unchecked, and they think that stuff's okay. Yeah. I have been playing 2 games this month. Bayonetta 3. I ended up beating No More Heroes 3 was last time I talked about that. That game was really fun. And I went straight into another Japanese crazy action game. That's my mood right now for the end of the year. Really like No More Heroes 3 a lot. That was fun, but something I love a little bit more, that Bayonetta. And this one is really freaking fun. There are parts where it's like the graphics. I'm playing a PlayStation 2 game in 2022. I'm playing a PlayStation 2 game with the textures, but it makes up for it in these scenarios. And that's what I like about Bayonetta 1 and 2 is like you'll be fighting and you can summon these kind of like in the middle of a fight, you can press a button and summon these like demons that'll fight for you. These giant, like a dragon or a giant spider. And that like is part of your combo. So like you press a button and like this comes out, like a dragon will punch somebody or whatever else. And with this one, there's scenarios where it's like you're chasing down this giant thing in the city that's tearing up the city. And you'll run and you'll jump on the back of this dragon. And the dragon is holding with its claws 2 boats. And the boats are like roller skates for it. And it's like going down the river on this thing. And you're just, it's like, I'm like cackling how funny it is. Like the different scenarios and the off the wall stuff with the characters. So really having a lot of fun with it. And the soundtrack is extremely good. It's like this jazzy, you would love it, Travis. I think it's like this jazzy, almost like you walk into a jazz club at like in Cincinnati. Nice. Very freaking good. So Bayonetta 3, very cool.
I have had that first one on Steam forever. I just never played it.
I kind of want to go back and play 1 and 2 now because I played 1 and 2 because I think I just was trying to catch up to 2 at the time, and I kind of played 1 on easy, and I just wanted to get through it or whatever. But like I'm playing on normal now, and you have to like dodge, and you have a good rhythm with the dodging and stuff. It's like that's the way to play it is normal, not easy.
Well, let me ask you this: so like those kinds of character action games, Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, I've never played any of those. I don't think. I played a little bit of God of War 1, but I never finished it. But I went out and I bought these. And I got my PS2 over here, Devil May Cry 1 and 3. Yeah. And so I almost wanted. Well, I heard it wasn't good. Yeah, and also, this is what I could find at local flea markets and stuff.
It sucks.
Should I skip 2 if I play them?
Yeah, I would not. I would never play that one. No.
Wow. Okay. I heard it was made by other guys too. Like it's made by different people.
Yeah, I think so. It just is a waste of time.
But would you recommend? I always have thought of Devil May Cry as like the originators of some of that, and I've been in a big Resident Evil kick. So I was like, maybe I'll play Devil May Cry 1. Would you recommend doing that before I play like a Bayonetta?
Yeah, you got them, and I think that they have their own mood, and it's the same developer. He worked on 1 and 3, maybe Hideki Kamina. So he worked on this one too.
Oh, he worked on Bayonetta too.
Yeah, he's
I didn't know that.
He's the designer for that too. So he did those two, those Devil May Cry. So they all have, they share the same DNA. Of course, Bayonetta or whatever has a much more fluid whatever because it's a newer game. But I think 1 actually is the most unique Devil May Cry 1 because it feels like a Resident Evil game. There's like the same, it'll change camera angles when you go down the hall. It has some frustrations in it, but it feels like a Resident Evil creepy game. It has its own cool vibe. And then I think Devil May Cry 3 and 1 does have goofiness in it, but I think 3 and all his other games have a goofy factor it makes for a fun game. So
yeah. Okay, cool.
I'd highly recommend Bayonetta 3. I usually, that's not my jam. I kind of like those, watching my friend play those, like type of like hack and slash, not hack and slash, but like this has combos and stuff you can do with it. I would compare it to Devil May Cry he liked, and watched him play that a lot. And I never really wanted to seek out and get those, but Bayonetta, like when it got to 2 on the Wii U, I was like, it's time to jump into these. Seem fun, and if you like wacky Japanese games like that, these are great.
Nice.
The other thing I've been playing is thanks to this little device right here. It is my Analogue Pocket. I ordered this last year and it finally came. This is a highly sought after freaking item, but see, I'm playing Sword of Mana is what I'm playing on it right now.
I really like that device.
That's cool.
And I did not know it was going to be kind of this big. Like, I don't know if you can see how big this thing is, but it feels great in the hand. It has 2 shoulder buttons back here, kind of like the SP. It's very similar to the SP, the shoulder buttons back here, but then you got the front there, and you have a little button right here that takes you like to the home menu for the device. But I was like back and forth because when I ordered this thing, I knew it was like high in demand, and I waited. Like I was like, I'll pre-order it. It kind of looks cool. I got it pre-ordered, said, hey, it's going to come towards the end of 2022. And as it got closer, I started looking on eBay, and if you had a pre-order, they were selling for $500. I paid like $200. So as it got closer, I was like, do I resell this? Do I need to play a handheld thing? What am I going to do? I finally got it, and I said, you know what? You live one life. You should enjoy it. So I opened that sucker up, and I was like, I want to play these games, and I'm so glad I did because I've been playing Florida Mana. I got save states on it. I'm sitting back on the couch playing that. The screen is gorgeous. It's big. Freaking love it.
So you can play all different types of things with it.
Yes. So it has a cartridge slot. And that's what I was kind of excited for at first, because like, oh, you can literally put in Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advanced into that slot, and it'll work.
Wow.
But I was like, you know what's exciting is to like, it's exciting that you can they added these things called cores, and what those are, when you emulate a game, you're just emulating a software version of that console basically, and you're playing your PS1, your N64, whatever, and it's not like one-to-one what the hardware was doing and how it was processing the code. It just runs it through this emulator, whatever, software emulator. This has added all of these different cores, and you can add different cores, and what that means is I've got a GBA core right now in there. It runs one-to-one like a GBA would. And I even like remember as a kid in that game, certain times it would lag or whatever. It lags in the same exact ways because it's emulating the hardware of the GBA. It's one-to-one, like the way the way it's supposed to actually run the game, which is helpful for like you really want to get that same feel for those games. Good and bad. Like I said, it kind of slows down at certain points, but that's how I remember playing it. That's how like, the feel of the game, but very freaking cool when you can get systems to do that.
That's
very,
awesome.
very hard. So they have that for like Neo Geo Pocket. They have Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, and more cores are coming. Like they're making more and adding all that stuff on there. So I played it that way, and I was excited to play with the cartridges. But then I was like, do I really want to like risk if I take this out or drop in cartridges and stuff? And it's like, no, I'll just play it on the core. So got that on there. Analogue Pocket. You can't get one. They're hard to get, but if you had one, you would be happy if you had one. And it charges with a USB-C, and it even has the link cable. You could do the link cable crap down there.
That's really cool.
Too. But
that's like the final form of the Game Boy.
This is like, and it feels like, that's why I've left like the plastic on the back, because it just feels like a high end, like, I mean, it was like $200 something, but it's like a high end device.
Yeah.
I would actually, I saw some review of it. That's why I was like, should I open this or whatever? And I was watching the review and I was like, this looks fun. But one thing he even said, he was like, when I go on the subway or whatever, I'm bringing a different like one with me, like a cheaper one to like emulate old Game Boy games or whatever. And he's like, this I'm keeping at my house because it's like,
wow.
It just feels solid. It's like a solid,
nice,
cool thing. So, Analogue Pocket. Oh, and Sword of Mana is really fun. I played that game back in the day. It came out in 2003, and I never beat it. So I'm like kind of going through back on. Now I'm like in a GBA kick. So you might hear some more GBA games I'm playing. But yeah.
I love the GBA. That was probably the first personal console I owned. I think I had that around the same time or before I had an N64, and I played like the Lord of the Rings games. I played the Harry Potter games. I played like Lego City 2.
They had a lot of good like kids games.
Yeah. I played a lot of just random stuff on that.
I really loved, and I'll probably actually put it, emulate it and put it on here or whatever. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. It's like a top down, but it's like isometric 3D.
I've seen that.
It's like an overworld thing. As a kid, I was like, I was obsessed with Tony Hawk, so I was going to get that game. But it's very freaking fun. It's very fun. And then when I was going back and like seeing, I'll go when I'm like in the mood to play a system, and it's like I'm in a GBA mode. What's the best like rated or the ones people recommend? Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is always in like that top 5 of all those lists. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I was obsessed with that game.
How crazy they crushed it in 3D and they crushed it on the handheld.
Yeah. That one was
just a weird
awesome
thing how good those games were.
Yeah, but yeah, GBA also had like Super Nintendo ports. We got Link to the Past on there. We got a remake of Metroid for the NES on there. But yeah, great system.
Good system.
I'm in a GBA mode.
We got a new system that we have a release date and price for.
The PlayStation VR 2. You've heard me bleed Sony on this channel. And I've said day one, sure enough, I sent you the way you had to get a pre-order, you had to go to their site and click a button and said, here, you can maybe get an invite if you clicked it. And I clicked it and they said, good luck. So the day before, 2 days before, or whatever, I got an email and it said, here's your link. They said, don't share it to anybody. Don't freaking like open it in a different device. Once you click this link, don't click it in a different device. Like, don't frick it up. So I did all that. It was a very, very easy process. What it did is like on the email, it said, hey, show up at like 11 a.m. to this time. And that's when you can get the system. I saw on Twitter, people were like, you can actually go like, it's up 15 minutes early. Showed up, click the thing. I got that. And I got the controller chargers for that, because that was kind of an ordeal with the PSVR 1. Charging both those Move controllers, because I had to get both of my ports on the PS4 and with 2 USB cables to plug those individually in, like those Move controllers. And I was like, let's find something else. So they made like, it's like you just slap them in this dock with the PSVR 2 controller. So I was like, let's just freaking do this right this time. So got that coming. Yeah, we got a price too. Since we've last talked about this, it was $550. More than the PlayStation 5.
Yes, that was pretty shocking.
Very shocking, but the PS VR 1 was $400, and it used that old PS3 technology at $400. So I was like at $550, and we actually get legit 2 hyper crazy technology controllers and that headset with the new technology. It's like, that's high, but it's like I just love it. If I would have never played the PSVR instead of the $550 price, I probably would have waited. But they really made me a believer with what they've already done. And I'm going to get the Horizon game at launch, and then they also have the new Alchemy Labs with an owl the people who made Job Simulator. It's Cosmo something. And
they're a good VR developer. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, so I love Job Simulator and all that stuff. And I was like, well, I'm probably safe with this other thing they got going. So getting those 2 at launch, and we'll see what we see. We'll probably do like I did that for PSVR 1 when I first got that. I spent a couple hours and did a stream. So I hope that they figure out like I can stream to Twitch.
Yeah, you'll be able to stream from the PS5, because the way it's going to operate, at least this one will. You know how like you can stream from the PS5 directly, right, with the camera and everything.
Yeah.
You'll just do the same thing you always do. The biggest difference is going to be like the idea that, hey, I'm going to use the camera, like for example, like you know the games on your TV screen. You're going to use that same thing to stream to Switch. So they'll just see what's inside your headset. It's really cool. It'll be probably the best thing to stream like VR content, because right now streaming VR content's kind of a big pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to get that taken care of pretty quickly. I think it's worth the price. I'm not going to get it. I'll look for you. But I definitely think it's worth the price, and hopefully it runs. If not, runs really well using the PS5.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about it. 1 cable. We're down to 1 cable now. We don't need.
Hey, amen, dude.
We don't need the camera either, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you don't need. Right. It's all inside out tracking technology that should be in most VR headsets.
Yeah. So yeah, PSVR 2. Check it out.
Very exciting.
A shirtless man leaked Kojima's next game.
When I saw this and I watched this video, I hadn't slept in 22 hours, and I was in a museum in Amsterdam, because when you fly over there, you don't go to bed because it jumps you forward 8 hours.
Yeah.
So it was 11 o'clock my time when we landed, like 11 o'clock at night, but it was 8 a.m. Amsterdam time, and we didn't want to waste the day. So they tell you just go and do your best to run. So I was on 22 hours of no sleep. I had done an 8-hour plane ride. I'd done a full day traveling before that. I'm standing in a museum looking at like Rembrandt paintings and stuff. I'm so tired, bloodshot eyes. Probably more than 22 hours a week. It was probably 30 at that point. And I pull up my phone and I see overdosed footage. And I open this up.
You're like, what the frick?
And I'm waiting for my buddy to come out of the bathroom. And I see this video, and the layers peel back slowly. So there's gameplay. And it looks really realistic. And it's the girl from The Leftovers, Margaret Qualley, or she was in Death Stranding. So I see that, and I'm like, okay. Then I see, oh, well, this looks like it was a YouTube video. And then I'm like, well, how did this leak? It's a YouTube video. Why would this even be on YouTube, even private? Why would somebody put this on YouTube? But then I see there's a streamer in the corner, and like a girl like streaming this in this YouTube video. And I was like, well, that's weird. How would this leak? Why would somebody be streaming this in a private video in YouTube? And then I'm like, well, but actually this is a TV. This is somebody watching the stream. Yeah. And then it hits me. You see the reflection on the TV of the shirtless man filming. This was a real House of Leaves situation, a frame within a frame within a frame. So my brain was gone. Yeah. So I did not really engage with the content of the video, but that is the funniest thing to me. And I don't know, did we ever find out who this guy was, or maybe you have more information? All I know is what I watched, and then I stopped.
The shirtless man is maybe his Kojima's next mystery, because we don't know who he is either. What that was with that girl in the corner, that was that video was more of a proof of concept. All that stuff wasn't like real time. It was showing that streamer because, and it's hard to, I mean, this is all leaked stuff that people were trying to piece together, but what that is looking like is it's a horror game, but it's like a multiplayer horror game in which somebody else is controlling the stuff in that world or whatever. So like there was something chasing her or something in the thing or whatever, and she's trying to get away from it. Like another person could be doing. That's why they were showing the streaming stuff, like a proof of concept, like somebody else is controlling that stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's what people piece together. That's not all official, of course, but that's what people were like saying. But yeah, it did the same thing to me. I was like, what am I looking at here? Why is the quality bad? And then when it went black, the screen he was watching, it was like that. Because what happened was the reason he was doing that is the origin of even this video. It was shared. I guess there's a service, or now that everybody's working from home, that's why I think we're getting, I mean, we talked about it for GTA 6. I think that had something to do with it, but they have basically their own version of Snapchat in their like business channels or whatever, that like they'll show something, but it's like it deletes after whatever time. So he was recording somebody else that had recorded basically a short snippet thing, and then he got sent the short like everything was all time based to where he only had one shot, so that's why he was recording that like just like this or whatever. But I just love he didn't have a shirt on, and I love the fact that Kojima has never, to my knowledge, and I've been a Kojima fan for a while, nothing's ever leaked ever from his stuff. He's always had these big E3 moments, these big things where we're shocked and screaming. It's always been this bombastic kind of like reveal. To see that his next thing he's working on, he probably had a crazy plan for, get leaked from a shirtless guy just in the corner, was such like, I felt bad for Kojima, but also it's so ridiculous that he probably had this cool plan, and that's how we saw it. Is this guy with no shirt on? So
he's had a good run in terms of things not leaking, I guess.
Yeah. But the streak has been broken. But that was Kojima's next game, Overdose. I guess that's the Xbox. That's the Xbox game he's working on.
Exclusive.
And he always said it was going to need the cloud to do it, so it has to be something with the cloud, or something with like other players are able to play in it. I don't know.
Can I want to give you a kudos. All right, I feel like you don't get enough of these. All right, and I'm going to give you one.
Give him a kudo.
I got an Xbox One S about a month and a half ago. It's the neatest thing ever, and I say that because like I have a PC, but sometimes I want to sit on my couch. And just having that, and you mentioned this like 2.5 months ago or 3 months, something like that. And I was like, you know what, Travis, I thought of you when I got it. And it's been nice. It's been really nice.
That little, you have the little Series S, the one with no disc.
No disc, all digital.
Yeah.
And it runs great. It's a competitor, dude. If not a competitor, it's in its own little world and it's doing well.
It is, and it does. You can quick resume different games. Is the coolest feature about it. Like you can have multiple things running and just switch between them. No, I'm glad you got one. That's cool.
I got Game Pass, and I was diddling around with it, and I'm like, man, this thing hits. It does all the right things for what a console should do. Yeah. So I just want to make sure you knew, like, I was thinking of you when you said
I'm glad.
That.
Hey, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I same for me. Like, I've got it. It's a little Game Pass machine. I just install stuff, mess around. I got some games I want to play right now because actually they've been popping off lately. They've been releasing a lot of stuff, little games, and a Plague Tale sequel came out. I want to play that. So, no, that's cool.
In a little market where like everything's all big and beefy, they're like, hey, here's a really nice machine that's powerful, but it doesn't have like all the bells and whistles. All you have to do is pay $20 a month and you can have everything you want. Yeah. So it was really cool. It's definitely
you're doing the, and we mentioned that when we were ranking the console stuff. You're doing that paid thing where you just pay for the system over time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you get Game Pass with that, right?
Yep.
That's amazing.
That's great. And we were saying that's the best deal in gaming ever. Like, that's pretty crazy.
That's an install game. That's an install deal. Like that's them trying to get it in the houses. Yeah. You know, that's the kind of stuff you want. So said Xbox and you said exclusive. I was like, you know what? Travis needs this because Stadia really crapped on him and he needs this one.
No, Stadia lasted just as long as I needed it to, really. So I actually feel great about Stadia.
Yeah. It lasted within those 3 years. Yeah.
Yep. It lasted just past the 3 years.
Yeah. Just under it. I'm
actually going to play some Stadia later tonight, and I'll stream it for the channels.
I can't in the store.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You know, it's maybe not, but I can play on the system now. So
that just sounds like an unsolved mystery to me. Unsolved Mysteries came out with a new season. We talked in the past of aliens. Alien sightings, craziness, and we got murders again.
More murders.
If you like murders,
some potential murders, potential, somebody just, gave up basically. Yeah. There was some interesting cases in this season.
Yeah, there was. We really enjoyed the, there is a paranormal episode that features these two, it's like this reservation land, and these two like Navajo rangers. What happens is these rangers are all like patrolling this reservation, and so many Bigfoot sightings and alien sightings happen that their boss comes to these two guys in this, like, that are patrolling and saying, we're splitting you off. We need you two to just investigate all this paranormal stuff. And the first thing out of that guy's mouth, he's like, when they told him that, he's like, oh, we're just the X-Files. Yeah. Like, that'd be the funniest thing if you come home from work. How was work today? I'm now the X-Files. Like,
Yeah.
I have to go discover Bigfoot. Like, that'd be so freaking funny. But it's not funny long, because there is legitimate, like, so many freaking sightings, so many, like, reports to where it's like, you can't have an entire, like, the alarming rate of people saying they see
Hundreds.
something.
There were hundreds.
There's something absolutely out there. You know what I mean? Like, there's something crazy. There's smoke. There's fire with this stuff. So, I thought what was crazy, it was making my imagination go wild. And maybe people in the paranormal community already think this, but I had never been exposed to it. They had 1 billion like Bigfoot sightings in this one like little neighborhood, whatever.
Yeah.
They set up cameras. And they caught like what looked to be this ape-like thing on the camera they had, but it didn't come from the sides. It just popped up, or it was running from the side. I can't remember what it did, but basically it just disappeared, like off of the camera footage. And they were like, this is where we've also seen like a UFO and stuff, saying basically like a Bigfoot is a type of alien, a type of whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, my imagination went crazy, and
Yeah. That was interesting to me, because Bigfoot stuff has always been like, haha, Bigfoot. But that connection was interesting. Also, he said some of the natives believe, I don't know if this was tied in with the skinwalker thing, but I think that they believe that Bigfoot's kind of a spiritual entity, and it summons itself physically, but it also doesn't always have a physical form, which would make sense of why you can't always find him sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, once I learned it could like teleport and do a warp or do a fast travel.
Yeah.
Like in an open world game, I was like, oh, that makes sense. You got me there.
Yeah.
But the end of that episode was cracking me up, because like they talk about the skinwalkers, which is terrifying, which are these creatures who can like change forms, right? Like they can change from like animals, different animals, to like a human. It can be a human,
can mimic
or whatever.
people.
But it's always like a super white looking creature. It's like a totally white like thing when you actually see it, how it's supposed to be, this alien creature. But very horrifying story. There was an orb, a weird orb that followed some lady like around. But the very end of the episode, they went to a government building that was haunted. And like all of the employees were saying, dude, we're hearing like people like yelling, we're hearing like creepy stuff going on and stuff in the next room. And like, I guess that place used to be a morgue back in the day. I ain't working there. I'm staying right here, Elon. So they decided, hey, we're gonna stay overnight at this place. So the Rangers get there with all their equipment and their team, and they're sitting there and they hear a coin drop. So they go in this room and they're in there and they're just sitting, and then they hear another coin drop like behind them, and then like down the hall, and eventually they like collected all the coins, and they always landed heads up, and there was always a coin like in there. And I just turned to my wife and I was just like, dude, with inflation, let's find this freaking place and just camp out and grab all this coin and stuff. But their theory was, with Bigfoot and the aliens and everything was all connected, that it was all these inner dimensions of stuff, and like stuff was coming through these different dimensions. But very interesting episode, very fun episode.
Yeah. One that I thought was funny because there was nothing unsolved about it was Buffalo Jim.
Yeah, Buffalo.
Because that was what
it was like, we solved it.
Like, we super solved this. And his daughter, for if Jacob, you didn't watch, Buffalo Jim was this character, over the top kind of guy in Las Vegas, and he ran a wrestling.
He was kind of like a freaking, oh my gosh, the guy off Tiger. He was like the Tiger King, kind of like just.
He was kind of like that,
and
he was like, he had a wrestling organization in Vegas, and he always argued with the mob who like were next door at a club, and like they always threatened to kill him, like with luring him in with a prostitute, and then he was found dead after being with a prostitute. It was like the mob killed him. There's no mystery here. But the funniest thing, and Jess and I keep quoting it, is his daughter. I mean, God bless her, her dad died, but they're like, he was found with cocaine. That was not my dad. He was 10 years sober from being a cocaine addict, and he never did cocaine in front of me. It's like, why would he do cocaine in front of his daughter? And you just told me he used to be an addict. So now I'm not convinced at all. They were like, this is not him. He would never do this. He was like 15 years sober. And it's like, yeah, I think he did it. I think he 100% did it. Like,
I think he 1,000% did this. Yeah. That, from the beginning, I was like, not solved, or we solved it. Like, it's done.
Yeah.
In the first 10 minutes, you know. But like the mob stuff, they just couldn't prove it or whatever else.
Yeah. Well, then they were like, why would the girl that he was with leave after he overdosed? It's like, why would she not leave if she's a prostitute and she's hanging out and this guy overdoses? She's leaving. There's no, it all was the only time in this show where even where I think I know what happened, I was like, I know what we all can see exactly what happened. Mystery solved, but you know, it's the mob. They can't prove it. So
yeah, I thought also, this is just an awful point. They had her for the Netflix thing go back to the same exact motel room that the dad died
and she went in there.
And she went in there, and I would just tell Netflix I'd give him 2 middle fingers. Like,
yeah, there's no way I'm going back in there.
What in the world? Stand out in front, I might do, but like, God Almighty, it's like that's where we found him. It's like, God, don't. That was awful. But
was there one that stuck with you the most in terms of, man, that is crazy what happened? I think about the kid in the college that went missing, left a party and they just never found him. I think that he was probably either in the lake or connected to some of those other missing people that happened around there. That one was weird. Yeah,
that one was the college kid disappeared. Then
the last one, next to last one, the lady having the dreams was freaking weird. Having the dreams.
Yeah.
That one was bothering me because I don't like.
That was bothering us too because it's like, that's real. Like, that's, yeah.
It was, this one was less, I won't even get into all the specifics. Sometimes these shows, they're like, what happened to this person? No one knows. This one was like brutal assault, murder. It was serial. It was multiple people involved. They were interviewing the people that did it, some of them.
Yeah.
And we know what happened. The mystery is, where's the body? But it was like not my cup of tea in terms of how much they were going into some of the detail about what happened. It was very sad. And then it was like linked onto this weird ghost story that Jess and I were convinced this lady just was obsessed with that case and read that book and weaseled her way into moving into the apartment. Yeah, because she's like, and my daughter called her that name, and the daughter's like, I remember my mom telling me, you know, like it was just like they making it sound like she just discovered this case. And
what about that detective though? Because the detective,
it was interesting.
He said I was in the middle of opening that case up for the first time in like 15 years.
No, that was weird.
She called at the same time.
That was weird.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe she had something, but that one gave me the most goosebumps, I think. But also, it had this most about it that was just, I didn't watch that Dahmer. I don't like the really sitting with all the details of what these Dahmer really sick people do. So anyway,
with that being said, I watched Dahmer. Wanted to give you guys some heads up on how that one went.
Yeah,
did you?
Please. Yeah,
I actually did watch Dahmer. I'm surprised out of the three of us, I'm the only one to watch it.
Well, I was doing something with my TV and it was playing the preview on Netflix. So like, you know how if you leave it on something, it was like just had come out and it started playing that preview. And I was sitting there and just felt just yucky. I was just like, I don't know if I could do this one. And then I heard like from the other podcast I listen to, this guy that watches all these horror films, he was like, I kind of wish I didn't watch it. He was just like, it just really was disturbing. Like,
this was a real dude, man.
And I think what added to that is I knew about Dahmer, and Dahmer was the worst. When I researched all these serial killers, I got in a serial killer kick or whatever everybody else is on Netflix.
I mean, Dahmer's
details. Yeah, Dahmer's details on what was going on with him and like the way he killed all this stuff.
Who was the clown one? Who was the clown series?
That was John Wayne Gacy, and I think it's him and Dahmer.
That one's pretty jacked up. But you know Joker, right? Like I left Joker feeling like dirt.
Yeah.
This one's worse. This one's worse than Joker. But just because like it goes into every detail of certain kills, like the stuff he like, how he baited him, how he did the stuff he did, how he just like, and the one that stuck with me the most was the one where he tied the dude to the chair after he beat him and then sat there and was like, hey, we're gonna watch all the videos of the guys I have that I killed before him. He's like, and now I'm gonna take some pictures and I'm gonna kill you.
Oh my god!
And then they sat there, and it was literally, from the scene for like 3 minutes was him sitting next to this dude, touching his head while watching this video with him, like watching him kill these. He's like, here's where I cut this dude and I put him in the tank, and he's like, but then again, this is where like
it goes surprising outside. That you were of all people watch this. I mean, Travis.
Yeah, I mean, it goes outside. I will say the part that I enjoyed was the dynamic between the father and the mother, just because like. Okay, I'm just gonna propose this idea. Sometimes
you not having video and not seeing your face and you saying these things is killing me right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but sometimes like you always have to be able to trace stuff back to the home.
Yeah.
And there was a scene that I didn't know this was the case, but like his dad got his son like really involved in like dissecting dead animals and like looking at them and messing with the body parts and stuff, and it went into detail about why he did that. And like in fact, I guess when I did the research, I found out like his dad didn't feel like he had a good connection with his son, and this was one of the things they could connect over. And so he didn't know he was fueling what he was just really interested in. A lot of people say it's just hyperfixation to the max. Like he just got hyperfixated on a bunch of terrible things, and then like socially and mentally, it just jacked him up.
And he was an alcoholic too, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. A terrible alcoholic. You know, so
just a lot of crazy stuff mixed in.
Yeah, from a standpoint, he did. What was the actor's name? I can't remember his name. I think it's Chris something. He killed it. Great actor. But from a backwards standpoint, yeah, man, it was jacked up, man. It was really jacked up.
Yeah. Check it out.
No, I mean, or don't.
Yeah, everybody would you recommend it or not recommend it?
If you really like a good like cinegraphic piece about a person, yeah, check it out. If you have a weak stomach, don't check it out.
Yeah,
I've just
heard overall like maybe stay away from it.
Even if that's gonna exist, I understand there's an audience for that, and this is maybe me just being idealistic. It shouldn't be named after him. I mean, name it Monster or name it whatever. Like. Yeah. I think you're glorifying the guy. Like you're dedicating an entire Netflix series to him and naming it and giving his background and making him sympathetic. Fuck them, man. Fuck them for making that show.
Yeah, there's probably a little bit of that. Yeah,
I think the end of the show. So they kind of what you said. I get what you're saying. They did a thing where he was in prison. I don't know if you guys know this, but there was like a fan club after the thing came out about him. Like people were like fan clubbing him and like sending him fan mail and stuff in jail. And they did a piece about that, and he actually had the actor say like, I don't know why I'm getting these. The guy who played Dahmer, he's like, I don't know why I'm getting these. I don't deserve these, but it showed that he enjoyed getting them. So it's just one of those things where I'm like, you know, I think they try to hit on that. It doesn't change the fact that like it is basically glorifying the things they're making it known that he was a person, and they're trying to justify some of the things he did.
That's
like,
wild.
There's no justification. Like the dude killed a bunch of men, a lot of black men, and like let's just be honest, it wasn't okay. But yeah, it was.
I mean, it's like let's make a show about the Parkland shooter, and I don't even know the kid's name. Let's name it his name, and let's show all the weeks leading up to when he did it. Like, no, I don't want to watch.
Well, we got 10 more years on Netflix.
But no, honestly, there's a chance that'll happen, you know, and it's.
I think there is. It's a weird fine line. I don't like it. I'm with you. I just don't. Outside of the content itself of what he did, it's just It's so gross. But I think there is a fascination of like what could cause a human being to do so horrid things, and I think that will always exist in humans. Like how could you get the most evil? You know what I mean? Like people just get a little fixated on that. You know, it is crazy, and you want to know about some of these things. It's like, what? How did that happen? You know? But
yeah, and I guess that's where I just think like some things. Maybe, you know, it's allowed to exist. I get to choose not to watch it, you know. But I don't know. I wish things like that stayed in autobiographies, if anything. Just like, hey, this is not for entertainment. Let's be clear. This is just here's how this happened, you know. But
was there any other stuff we watched or anything else you guys saw?
I watched The Witcher season 2. and I finished it, and it was really fun, and I had a good time. And then right when I finished it, I saw that Henry Cavill will be leaving The Witcher after season 3, which I guess they're filming right now. So,
or no, I thought it was after 4. Was it after 4?
After 3. So starting in season 4, there'll be Liam Hemsworth.
I will watch season 3, and then I will not watch season 4. I don't know. That casting was so perfect that it bothers me. If they would have recast like Siri or somebody else, I'd been like, oh, okay. I would have kept watching. But Henry Cavill was the most perfect Geralt that it's like, I don't care who you get after that. I don't know. Like, I just don't.
I'm gonna watch season 3, and then if I'm still liking it, and I'll give season 4 a shot. I come from like the James Bond fandom where like Sean Connery is the best Bond, and you had him right at the beginning, and then it just switches up. And the other reason why I'll keep watching is because I don't ever plan on reading these books, all of them. I like the series. I'm reading the first book. I like it. It's a lot of reading. Season 4 will be right in the middle of all these books, so I'll be curious. I think I'll like the story at that point. I'll give it a shot. But
I'm gonna read the book, and while I read the book, I'm gonna have a picture of Henry Cavill on the opposite page I'm reading at all times.
But I did dig a little bit into why he's leaving, and apparently
what happened with that?
So he has been very vocal, I guess, during season 2, during the press for it. He was very vocal about having disagreements with the writers about Geralt's character. He felt like they have him be too quiet and gruff. And he feels like in the books, because he's a mega fan, in the books, Geralt is more, he gives speeches, like he's more of a philosopher, and he feels like in season 2 they have not been capturing Geralt the way he is in the books.
Because they did that a little bit in season 1. They
did, and they stopped in season 2, and I think it's been pissing him off. And I guess some of the behind the scenes stuff I was reading is it's really come to a head. He really doesn't like what they're doing with the character. I like it just fine because it kind of matches the games where he isn't the most talkative, but as a book fan, he doesn't like it. And I guess it's just kind of mutual. I think that he is becoming very cantankerous and refusing to do certain things on set. And they are like, look, dude, we have a show to make, like, you know. So I think that's the problem, is I think it's a difference in vision. And he's like, well, I got plenty of opportunity to go work on other stuff right now. So they're going to go their separate ways. So I think it's a bummer. I do, because I mean, you know, even if this guy's fine, you know, it's going to be a pretty big change. But I will say, I'm not a fan of like the lady that plays Carrie Fisher died, so now let's like CGI her and use only unused clips. They should have recasted her, right? I know Henry Cavill's not dying, but like, or when Black Panther guy died, Chadwick Boseman, and they just say, okay, the character's just dead now because we can't recast him. I hate that. That bothers me the most, is when somebody can't continue on and you're like, just cancel the whole thing, because these are parts. These are not like, this is not real life.
I don't think
this is not cancel it. Yeah, you got to keep going, you know.
I personally am like, that's like a hyper bum.
I agree. I'm bummed out about it. I still have a feeling. I have a feeling they're filming season 3. Yeah.
Maybe Henry Cavill played this card like a game of chicken. He's like, oh, I'm leaving. And he wanted to see what the fans would do. And I think they overwhelmingly, I saw people on Facebook I didn't even know watched this or had any interest in Witcher were like, what in the world? It's like, what? I thought you just baked cookies is all you did. Like, I
thought the same thing. And after the Spider-Man kid, all that drama went down. Remember, there was not supposed to be a movie or a No Way Home. I think it was No Way Home. Spider-Man 3 was in limbo forever because they didn't have a deal with Sony, and then they figured it out at the last minute after the deadline, after they said, and they were like, we're going to go off and do our own Spider-Man movies. We're done with Marvel, and they figured it out, and then they made No Way Home. I have a feeling sometimes these things go public. Like you said, it's a game of chicken. So, you know, nothing's really done until it's done. It is weird that they already recasted, though. That is an extra level on the chicken, I think. You're not going to do it. Not only are we going to announce you're going to be gone, we have a replacement. That's pretty dedicated, I think, at that point.
You know what? This is going to be a crazy game of chicken.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that guy's in on it, though. Maybe he knows that it's a game of chicken. It's not likely.
Open up season 4, episode 1. What happened? I thought he was going to win. But The Witcher. And that's it for TV, right? Yep. And then you watched a movie.
I did. On my flight to Europe, I played some games, I listened to some music, but I was scrolling through the movies they had on there to find, is there something, I have different movies that I've never seen that I feel like it's pretty much a shame I haven't seen them. And one of them is Jaws, and they had that on the plane. So I watched Jaws.
Jaws, good one.
Steven Spielberg film. If you've never heard of it, I don't know if you're film buffs.
I've heard of it.
It's a pretty famous movie. Spoofed. I've seen all the Jaws spoofs, Sharknado and all this stuff.
Yeah, you saw that. Well, you basically saw Jaws.
Jaws was interesting because it was kind of the first blockbuster, is my understanding. Yeah. So I liked it. I liked the cast. I liked the story. I liked the mayor. You know, if you don't know the story, a shark eats a girl, but it's the day before the 4th of July, so they don't want to shut the beach down. But then more people keep getting eaten, and they eventually go out in the water and they hunt the shark down, like a Moby Dick style thing. I like the movie. It's very fun. I would say the last 30 minutes of this movie, rough. It is.
I don't remember what happened.
The movie's really good, and then there's a point where they're on the new boat, or they're out on the boat, and they're playing bait, and with the shark, and they're throwing barrels in the water, and it was tough to get through. It just was a little bit. Okay. This was the first blockbuster, so they hadn't nailed that pacing of the action climax, and they were a little limited with what they were working with. It drug a little bit for me there, but that's fine. Movies can drag, especially old movies. But it was a good movie, and I'm glad I scratched it off the list. It was a fun time. I would recommend Jaws. And it's just a fun movie. That's really all I would really know to say about it.
Classic.
It wasn't.
You gotta see it.
Not my favorite movie in the world, but definitely something worth watching. Little piece of cinema history. So
cool.
That's Jaws.
Well, can I give you a Jaws story? I beat a casino, and I'm gonna tell you the story.
Shoot.
Last Friday, me and one of my friends, we said, let's get up early and let's head out. We had a couple people we wanted to go visit for some logistics stuff, but then let's make our way down to Cincinnati and go to Hard Rock.
Yeah.
So we went and visited our people, quick, easy, in and out, say hi. And then we went to Hard Rock. And I have made a new rule for myself because I get bad. I know I do. So I said, I'm only going to bring X amount of dollars in. I brought X amount of dollars in, and I went and played blackjack for about a couple hours. And I left very happy. I was like, oh, this is going really well.
I heard blackjack is the one you can win at, right? Is blackjack the one, like, you can actually get good at blackjack?
Blackjack, everything's 50-50. Blackjack's 55-45. And the reason they say that, like 55 in the favor of the player, is because there's rules on when to hit and when to not hit. And technically there's a system that if you are really good with math and like remembering things, you can count cards. It's extremely hard to do. I can't do it. I don't have that kind of mentality. And if you can,
the casinos will just kick you out.
Well, they legally cannot, but they can just ask you to stop playing. Which that's what they say, hey, we don't want you to play anymore.
Yeah.
It's not illegal. It's not illegal to count cards. It's just casinos will stop you.
Yeah, because they don't like to lose.
Yeah. So I got up. I came in with $300. I walked away from that table with $875. But nice. I wasn't done. That was the issue.
Oh no.
It's okay. Now listen. I went to roulette. And I was down to my last $200. I've lost. Now I'm negative.
Okay.
And you're like, I said to myself, I don't play outside. Nothing wasn't hitting. So I placed my last bets. All right. with $200, I had 8 green chips. I placed them out there, and lo and behold, I spiked a number. They pay out 30-1 when you spike a number. So 25 times 30 is $750. Well, lo and behold,
you're back to what you got.
But I'm not done yet. So I doubled down on all my bets. And I spike another number in a corner. And I said, you know what? I'm not done yet.
Oh my God.
So I expanded my bets and I hit a 0. That pays out 40-1. And I said, you know what? I'm not done yet. And I walked away from that table with $4,500.
Oh my gosh.
And I cashed out.
So you finally cashed out. You cashed out when I got to that.
You're right. And I beat the casino.
You beat the casino.
So I went back today. Because I beat the casino. And I brought a set amount of money. And I was down and out. And I went back to roulette. And lo and behold, I made up $500. I scraped $500 up. I came in with $300. I got back up even. But you know me, I'm Captain Dangerous. And I said, you know what, Jacob? I told my friend, I need to take this $500. I need to play one hand of blackjack with it. I'm going to hit it with a doubler. So I went to the high roller room. I found a guy who was just standing by himself. I said, sir, one hand. And he said, you want to cut a new shoe? I was like, darn right, I want to cut a new shoe. He shuffles it all up. This is pure gambling now. I cut the deck.
I really want to go to the casino with you.
No, you don't.
Too.
I
really do too.
He cuts the deck. And he said, sir, good luck. And I said, hey, thank you, man. If you hook me up, I'll tip you. He's like, oh, yeah, I got you. Deals out the card. I blackjack on $500. I walk out with $1,250, and I leave today.
So you started with 2. You eventually worked your way up and got 45, right?
That was last Friday.
And then you lost all that 45, right?
No, I pocketed that sucker. I bounced, bro.
So you kept the 45, and then you came back with what today?
2, got up to 5, and then left with $1,250.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I'm going with you next Friday.
Yeah.
Hey, I kid you not. You do not beat casinos. This is the best I've ever done. I have lost $3,000 one night. All right. We've had rough nights. I am probably close to break even right now in my total casino escapade. But I'll tell you right now, nothing's better than getting on a roller in roulette. I'm talking like people walk up, start like hitting you on the shoulder, like, hey, you're killing it. Hey, keep it up, man. They start betting your numbers because they're like, you're really hot right now. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm just sitting here throwing money at this person. So it was awesome. It was cool.
What happens when it crashes though? Do people just shake their head and walk away?
Oh, they walk away. That's the worst part. They walk away. You know, it's not fun. They're like, oh, that stinks, and they just leave you, and you're like, wow, now I'm broken, lonely. Like this really does suck. But guys, I kid you not, it was a great time. I made more money than I would working, and I was like, this is great. I'd do this more often. So I want to tell you all that story. My Ocean's 12 story right there.
That is
amazing
freaking story. Kids, please do not gamble.
Do not, Gabe. If you have a problem, there's gonna be a number at the bottom of the screen. Please call it.
Yeah, please don't gamble. Unless it's Dogecoin, then you're safe.
Always.
Unless you invested in FTX or any of these other exchanges where everybody's losing all their money. Well, I think that's there's not a better place to end it right there. We're gonna cash out our coins right now. Thank you guys for watching. Actually, we've got 3 announcements. First announcement. Hangouts are coming back in December. But yeah, I think there's next week. Yeah, end of November. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we will be streaming. And follow Twitter. Follow us on where I'm working at right now. DweeBros on Twitter. When we go live, when we're doing live reaction stuff, which brings me to my second announcement. The second announcement. We are going to be doing the Game Awards. December 8th. I think it's at 6 p.m. Eastern. I think I might just put it like a placeholder time. I think it's 6 though. I could be wrong. But whenever it starts, we will be going live on Twitch and YouTube. The whole gang's going to be here. It's going to be a full couch. It's going to be a crazy sight to behold here. We're going to have the whole couch full of Game Awards attendees. And there's a strict dress code that I'm enforcing this year. You guys have laughed it off in the past. No. We have to dress up this year.
What are we wearing?
You have to wear a nice tie button up.
Okay.
It's the Game Awards.
Okay.
I'll watch from the window outside then.
It's going to be in a basement, so good luck.
I can do that.
So that's happening. Then we will be having one last podcast for the remainder of the year in December. And in that podcast, we will be talking about our favorites. We do a yearly at the very end of the year, our favorite games, TV shows, movies, gambling tricks, what have you. We will be going through the gambit, our top threes of the year in December. So will you join us? Please do. And let us know what your favorites are for the year. You guys like starting to get a list together? I think I kind of know where I'm at with all this stuff.
I need to finish Ragnarok, but probably I'll be close.
Okay.
I haven't played enough games to have a 3, so I have
Keep
some
playing.
smaller ones installed. I got to catch up on some stuff, I think.
Yeah.
I know
Cool,
what my
definitely.
1 is, I think, so. And I know what won't be in my list that I played.
Hey, I cannot wait to announce that Dead by Daylight is my game of the year.
It might happen. Before I forget, where was you sent a picture in our group chat, Travis? Was that the Sony? Did Sony have a Berlin office, or was that
That is what's their name?
Oh, it's the Horizon Studio.
The Horizon Studio. What's their name?
I forgot their freaking name. Oh my gosh, Gorilla.
I was at Guerrilla Games headquarters.
Okay.
And I'm not the only one that's ever tried to come because they have a very strict security thing at the front, and it's just a little thing of Aloy, and you got to press the thing to get in.
You had to like scan your eyeball.
But I took a picture and I said I'm here to submit my complaints in person. So
yeah,
That's funny.
cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hold on one second. Let me. I gotta get something. There's. Elon just hold on. Elon just emailed me. I'm fired again.
That was quick.
Okay. I'm just gonna camp out here until we see what if he needs me or something, you know. Because I only have Dogecoin. I don't have any. He only pays us in Dogecoin. Now that was a cool change he did as well. So,
nice.
yeah, I don't know what I can buy in Dogecoin right now though.
Well,
I think
yeah. The problem is your paycheck gets submitted through FTX.
yeah, that's true. I put everything actually in FTX. So, well, we'll see. You know, Elon. We'll see if he posts any funny memes on Twitter and stuff. Maybe that might help me.
Okay,
We'll see.
I'm depressed for you. It's okay.
Yeah, we'll see. This is going to be epic. All right. Well, I might be here next time. I might not. I might be in a different place. Who knows?
Peace.
Hold on. All in Twitter when all these employees were leaving, like he fired somebody on Twitter. It became like in their like Slack channel or on Twitter, they just were leaving salute emojis as they were getting fired. So there's only one way to end this.
Goodbye.
I'm saluting with you.
Goodbye.